Yeah. So when you're going on the journey, how do I know as a receiver of the healing that I'm not just answering for the sake of giving an answer?
And can we get in specific of your situation in the session?
Yeah, sure, of
like
course. Yeah, absolutely, definitely. Okay. So in the circumstance on my journey, I was going through, I had a very traumatizing experience, and at the end of the experience, because of my own failure in the journey, or lack of, or belief of failure in the moment, my instinct in the session was to want to hang myself in the tree, and I knew that wasn't what you wanted, or that wouldn't be what one would want, right? Especially having had the experience in my physical reality of having a suicide attempt. I know the impact it has on other people and how that lands. So I had like a story in my head, a narrative about like, I don't want to follow through with this. This is going to hurt her or upset her, or that's not how it's supposed to end, or what have you, right? And so I was like really trying to have I was conscientious. I was like, like all of those things were playing a role. So I'm curious how that translates.
Yeah. So, okay. So again, that is 2% Jana.
Okay.
And there was like the 98% of the spectrum. And when we are on the QHHT, actually one of the things that commonly happen, but not all the time, is that the death experience, which is very healing and very transformative. So by no means I was avoiding it at all, because it's part of the process in a lifetime to complete it. So in this case, what happened is that was something that was your logical mind. We call it like the little me, or the part that is always just like thinking and
the ego, basically.
Questioning and that was that was the part of you that had that perception. But everything that happened in the session is like exactly as it's supposed to happen.
Sure.
So I did not by any means influence that experience. The only thing I was guiding, we can say, is like what are you gonna actually do?
Follow through.
Yeah, what do you actually do?
So interesting.
And always giving the openingness for you to choose what you chose. And in this case, you chose not to do it, but that was your choice.
Right. So interesting, because it was also physically my choice.
It was
in this lifetime, right? Which is like, I mean, I had the choice, but I knew what I was doing then, and physically made the choice not to end my life, even though I was like, let me just play with how far I can go to the edge of this.
Yeah.
Right? I ultimately was like, I'm not going to choose that.
And something that happens, so we didn't go through the death experience in that life.
Right.
But that's okay. Sometimes, as I said, all of this is guided. So I'm not controlling what I think it's supposed to or not supposed to happen. On the contrary,
Can you explain what you mean by guided? By whom, I should ask?
By your higher self.
Got it.
So everything, even the moment somebody reaches out to me and say, hey, I'm interested on having this experience with you, that is guidance.
Yes.
That is like somebody that's
and then, of course, like the energy exchange as soon as they put the deposit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and anything that comes in the way of the session happening on time or on this particular day and blah, 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 blah. It's all guided by higher self.
All guided. And the questions are a very important part, because those questions are like the opening of the door of what is it that you are actually calling to explore. And what you see is like the journey, it's so different. I mean, we arrived to the questions, but neither you or I could have ever imagined, even thought of what was going to unfold to get there, right? It's like we're going in together and just like letting all unfold and play. And this is guided by your higher self, because those experiences have something that's still emotionally trapped, like the trauma that you mentioned. It was still trapped in your field, causing some form of
behavior or
unease.
dis-ease.
Unease and emotional unease towards things in life, perhaps irritation, anger, frustration, all of those things that were trapped
a relation to like the way the world around me and outside me relates to me and how I relate to it.
Absolutely. So that was why that was shown, and it's something that we explore. Like, why is this presented to you? What do you need to learn from that? What is so all the pieces? They not necessarily have to make sense at the beginning.
Sure.
Like, so something that I was gonna share is like, we didn't go through the death experience, and something happened, which is it's called the leapfrogging.
Yes.
And the leapfrogging is like, you go from
I'm in this, and then I'm in the next.
And the next, you move through this, and then all of a sudden you're like a falcon flying over like a portal.
As one does.
As it happened, you know. But all of that is like, it's like a very, if you look at it, at least this is my interpretation. It's like and part of what your higher self said as well is like, you went from one to like complete like freedom, opening your wings, and having like this energy brought into your being as part of the healing process already within the session. So, and this is something that it happens, you know, like you go from one to the next one to the next one to the next one. It doesn't make sense perhaps to the logical mind. Why would I go from this to that to this to that? But then at the end, the higher consciousness operates differently than how we are used to thinking. Because
you're not in a space-time continuum. You're not like stuck and trapped in this physical third reality.
And that's what I said, you know, with all the love and the respect, that was 2% Jana. Because we're operating with our logical mind, which is only a very small percentage of actually the
quantum self.